Hi, crafty friends. So let's make 3 quick and easy crafts with Dollar Tree cutting boards. So first up, we are going to make a riser. So I'm taking this napkin that I got and I'm taking the ply off. So it looks like there's more plies on the napkin, but they're not. These napkins are just super duper thick. So I'm going to add some Mod Podge over the top of the board, and then we're going to put the napkin over the top of that. Now these napkins on, when they're folded up on one corner, it has like some gold edging on the scallops and then like some gold just kind of on parts of the napkin in that little area. So I thought, oh man, okay, so I lay the napkin kind of cattywampus onto the board because I wanted some of that little gold to match. Or not to match, to show. That would be different. And then what we're going to do is we are going to also Mod Podge these down the edges of this board. So just a little bit more Mod Podge and then just fold that over. And then I just really carefully around the edges because they're rounded, just kind of went and folded those around and it turned out perfectly. So once all that's done, then we will set it aside to dry. And then once it's dry, we will just sand off those edges of the napkins because we don't need, obviously, that part there. So we'll have the sanding and it's just like a really nice clean edge. So I did notice when I was sanding it that I got a little bit of Mod Podge on the bottom of the board. That's okay. I just sanded it off. It was no big deal. But if you do get anything down there, you can always just sand it off or paint it. And honestly, you guys, for risers, if you don't want to put a napkin over the top, you don't have to. You could totally paint it any color you wanted, however you want. So I got these little rings, these little napkin rings, when I was out thrifting one day. I got a whole bag of them. And so you could do anything for the feet of these risers. You could use different size beads. You could use however you want. That part is totally up to you. But I challenge you to go into the Dollar Tree and look around. Doesn't matter what department you're in. If you are over in, automotive or whatever, look at the shapes of things because you'll be surprised when you start looking at shapes versus what things are and what they're for that you can use for crafting. So if I wasn't going to use these, I would probably use, they have these little bubbles that come in this little container. And it almost looks like the bottom of a sconce. I would probably use those because I wanted a taller riser. But I thought, let me just use what I have. So look how adorable this is. I just think it's so much fun. All right, so that is project number 1. So let's move on to project number 2. Another cutting board, and then I got also one of those little wood blocks, and I'm going to cut that off here because what we're making now is to go on my kitchen counter, and it's going to be a recipe holder. So I'm just going to use my miter box saw here, and I'm just going to take off the part we don't need because I just wanted it to fit right along the bottom of this cutting board. So I don't want it to sit straight up. I want it to kind of lean back a little bit. I want kind of there to be an easel kind of look to, or, feel for it. So again, my phone doesn't fall off because I'm always on my phone with recipes trying to follow them and you got to lay it on the counter and blah, blah, blah. So I thought this would be perfect. So see here where that's square and the cutting board is rounded edge. Well, I just grabbed out the sanding block and just sanded, and then it finally got that edge that I wanted, and I'm like, yay to that. So we're going to put a coat of chalk paint over the top of this, and then we're going to do a little bit of distressing. But on that front piece there where my fingers are holding it, I was like, let's put something there decorative. So when I was out and about thrifting a while back, I got a bunch of old dresser handles, and I thought, oh my gosh, let's add that to it. I just think that would be super fun, just a little something different. So here's the part of the easel. This is from a frame from the Dollar Tree, the little cardboard part there. So I'm just going to glue that to the back of this. So I'm just kind of using this little craft stick to make sure, see how there's holes in it? I don't want the glue to glue it to that part. I want it to still be able to easel, if that makes sense. So once the glue's in there and it's hot glued to the board, then I just slid that little piece out. So that worked really perfectly. And then once I got it on there too, also, that would be the same thing. Well, kind of, sort of. Anyways, I painted the whole back of this too because I wanted it all to match. But I thought, let me get everything glued down before I paint, and that worked out perfectly. So then like I said, I did a little bit of distressing on the front of this. I didn't want a ton. Again, you could have it however you want, but I love using an ink pad to hit the edges just for a little bit, a little knot of distressing, but again, not too much. It just kind of adds a little bit there. So just be careful when you're using these ink pads because, friends, it gets all over your hands. So here's how it turned out. Look at the bottom of that. Isn't that the cutest? I just love, love, love. All right, friends, so that was number 2. So last up is project number 3 with another one of the cutting boards. So we're going to make a Santa head, a decorative Santa head. So I want this cutting board to have the handle. Well, obviously we don't have a handle, so we're going to use some cardboard, and we're just going to cut out the shape that we want. And I cut it way bigger than I needed to be, but as I figured out how I wanted it to be, then I could just trim it down. So I thought, let's add one of these Dollar Tree, the little faux tens, faux 10 tile, there we go, over the top of it just for like another decorative element. I thought that would be fun. So once I got that on there, and then we started hot gluing everything together. So for the hat brim, I was like, okay, what do we want to do with that? So I've got 2 wood shims. So I'm going to glue those together and then just flip them so that it makes one even piece because, you know, the shims are a little bit thinner on one side than the other. And then, like I said, we'll hot glue this on, and then we'll put the little handle on there, our faux handle. So it's a nod to, oh, hi, there's a handle there, but it's really not a piece of wood. All right, so once we get all of that done, all the gluing and everything together, we are going to paint this. So I'm just going to paint everything white. I will give you a tip if you haven't ever painted one of those faux 10 tiles from the Dollar Tree, is when you're using what is that called? A foam brush like I'm using. Sorry, words are hard today. Rather than going across like I am on the wood here, if you just dab it, it covers it so much nicer. So whenever you're doing that, just dab, 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 and then it dries great. So here is my favorite tip for easy distressing. So see this little sponge? It's got like that little scruffy hard part on the top, you know, for like kitchens. So I'm going to add some paint to it. And I know it looks like I'm adding a lot, but you can see there I'm really not. And I have used this thing so many times. I just keep reusing it. But watch how easy this is. Stop it. Look at that. If you want more, you just keep going more, push down a little bit harder, and it's that simple. I love using easy distressing techniques. So I'm going to do the handle part as well, just because it has the, you know, those areas that are kind of lifted. I thought that would turn out really cute. Now I'm going to freehand the face. I know you're thinking, you're going to freehand the face. Friends, I am not a painter. So I used this little round sponge. We started with the mouth, and then we're going to do the eyes and the nose. We're going to add, like he's wearing a scarf. We're going to put some greenery at the top, just add all the little fun parts to him. And I think this turned out so stinking cute. I just love it. So I hope you guys enjoyed these 3 crafts. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more.